So why don't you begin by saying your name, the culture you're from, and your family life at home?
I'm Julia Koh. I am Korean American, but I am 100%, how do you say ethnically? I'm 100% ethnically Korean. And what is it like at home? I have 2 parents and a sister. I'm a mom and a dad and a younger sister. Is that what I say?
The food you eat.
I mean, I eat
you
Korean
speak
food.
language at home.
I speak Korean, and my parents speak Korean to me, and my parents speak Korean to me, and I speak English to them. That's mostly how we communicate. But if it's something important, then I have to speak Korean.
So when did you first come to love it?
At 6th grade. She knows better than me.
Was that a weird? Have you always been going to private school?
Yeah,
always.
Okay,
so that wasn't like a weird transition for you to go from.
I mean, the weirdest transition was probably from like 2nd grade to 3rd grade, because that's when I moved to Trinity from a Montessori school. I think, yeah, Montessori school is still private, but it was just like weird to go from a really loosely structured school to a very strictly structured school.
So you've been here for a while. What do you think the culture of Lovett is, and how is that different? I mean, not just in a cultural sense, but academically, what's expected of you, socially, what's expected of you. A little bit about that.
So, like, at home, I'm definitely held to a higher standard, that typical Asian standard, I guess. I mean, over the years, I'm pretty sure my parents sort of, were like, okay, it's fine. If you get a few B's here and there, but just pull all A's by the end of the semester. But I think at Lovett, there's like the top 20% that actually follow that kind of standard, which is a lot considering that like the typical Asian standard is being applied to people at Lovett, which is definitely a new concept to me. Well, it's not new anymore, but it was a new concept to me. And definitely moving from Trinity to Lovett was a step up, because I think people at Lovett are much more competitive than at Trinity, which is understandable because this is a high school, middle school thing, and I went to Trinity during elementary school. So yeah.
Do you feel like you feel any pressures from school to be one way or another, to just be American and not be Korean?
I mean, I've never really paid attention to that, because honestly, I don't really sorry, hold on. I don't really mind what people think of me, and I just choose to be whichever way I want, which is kind of cliche, but it's pretty true. And I don't feel any pressure from people, and if they do, then if I do feel pressure, then I'm not aware of it, or I choose to be ignorant of it, because I'm just gonna be who I want to be, despite my race or culture at home.
So how do you manage to balance that?
Balance what?
Your Korean culture and the American side of things.
I don't. I don't really balance it. I mean, I act the way that I act the way that my friends act, which is pretty predictable considering that I hang out with mostly, like, since there is a white majority at Lovett, surprisingly, I don't hang out with a white majority at Lovett, because most of the friends I have at Lovett are Asian, thinking about it, and we just kind of, I don't know, I think it's just easier for all of us to correlate and relate to one another. And definitely, obviously, having like the same work standard and ethic is pretty important. Like, I think all of my friends have like the same sort of standard. Obviously it's not going to be exactly the same, but we all have that general notion of like, we need to study when we need to study. And yeah.
Last question. So whenever Lovett has like a cultural event, or like World Fest or something, do you think the way Korean culture is portrayed to Lovett kids is the full like authentic version, or is it a little bit watered down in a sense? And why do you think that is?
I've never been to World Fest, so I can't really say that. I can't really judge that to its maximum, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume, considering that I'm the only Korean that I know of attending this high school at the moment, which might not be true. I honestly don't know about the freshmen, but I know from sophomore year up, I am the only Korean, and Paul is half Korean, and that's about it. And so, and Paul is probably more Chinese in cultural wise than Korean. And also considering that I've had no input on this portrayal of Korean culture, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that the portrayal of Korean culture is not as accurate as most people seem to think it is. And if it's portrayed at all, I didn't even know that people like put Korean up in the World Fest or something. I know that there was like some food culture thing in middle school or something like that, but yeah.
All right.
I mean, yeah.
Thank you.
Is that